of this rally. The woman that put in so much work, and y'all have heard her name before. We couldn't do this without her. The Vice President of the Cabarrus County Moms for Liberty, Alexis Hughes.
Hi guys, so my name is Alexis Hughes, and I started this as the founder of a group called You Heard Her, an advocacy group for those that are too fearful to speak out for themselves. They fear for their jobs, retaliation, and I'm going to speak in that capacity tonight. But I do want to state the reason that I decided to take on the position of vice chair for Moms for Liberty is because these are parents that want parental rights, but yet they're vilified, called Nazis, bigots, KK Karen, I think is what we were called. Yes. And I want to change that perception because I have been respectful to those that call me those names online. The same ones preaching love and acceptance, but can't accept that we disagree with them. So let me start. My name is Alexis Hughes. As founder of You Heard Her, I am here today speaking on behalf of female students, teachers, parents, and community members who are afraid to speak for themselves. Many of the stories I am sharing today come from anonymous whistleblowers. They are afraid to speak publicly because they fear retaliation, and that retaliation is real. Retaliation can and does look like loss of jobs, loss of recommendation letters for scholarships, reduced playing time in sports, loss of promotion opportunities, bullying and harassment at school, harassment and bullying on social media, social isolation, and intimidation. The stories I'm going to share today are in addition to the stories and families who have already bravely spoken publicly, not only at these meetings, but also online and with NC Values. These accounts must be shared clearly and honestly to remain true to the voices of those who have trusted me to share them. I am going to start with the story that hurts my heart the most and the one that should shock everyone. Several female students have independently corroborated incidences involving biological males outwardly presenting as male but self-identifying as female, regularly entering female restrooms. I know opposition says, what's their mere presence a problem for? Well, according to these students, rather than using a stall when girls were present, some individuals decided to pull their pants down, expose their penises, and laugh about it as if it were a joke. Protect all kids. Students report that when these incidents are reported, nothing meaningful is done because the situation becomes the girl's word against the biological male's word. Female students who express discomfort are then threatened by the biological males with accusations of bullying and discrimination simply because those girls voiced their concerns. Female students who ask for private accommodations regarding locker room use have not only given up their rights, but now they have reportedly been confronted aggressively by 2 transgender identifying students inside locker rooms. In at least one instance, video evidence, which I have seen, showed behavior intended to intimidate a female student and make her feel threatened, unsafe, and fearful. Instead of protecting the female student, the trans-identifying students were taken to the guidance counselors to voice how they felt bullied, while the female student faced retaliation and punishment. One mother, who was also a school employee at the time, spoke to the school administration about these concerns. After doing so, she was banned, and I've seen the text message from the principal, banned from entering the school to use the restroom or communicate with the front office staff, access that she had routinely been allowed prior to speaking up about her daughter's uncomfort. Another female student became uncomfortable after a biological male, outwardly presenting as male but identifying as female, entered the locker room, and rather than changing clothes with the rest of the females he likes to identify as, sat and just watched those students undress. Teachers and school employees who have voiced opposition to current practices report being systematically passed over for promotions despite being fully qualified, and in many cases more qualified than those ultimately selected. By refusing to implement clear policies and by failing to address these situations appropriately and proportionately, we are sending a dangerous message to our girls. Do not speak up, because if you do, not only will nothing be done, you will also lose opportunities, friendships, social standing, or even your parents' ability to participate in your school life. We are teaching girls to ignore warning signs and suppress their natural instincts for self-protection in order to keep the peace and avoid rocking the boat and to be a biological male's safe space. We are teaching them that if you speak up, you're going to be labeled a bigot, a bully, hateful, simply for expressing discomfort. The absence of clear policy has unfairly placed the burden on female students, children, to defend themselves. It has placed targets on their backs for simply asking for privacy, dignity, and safety. One student in our district has been emotionally devastated after coordinated social media harassment campaigns organized by Cabarrus County students from various schools. Coordinated efforts being made to jump her. Where's your truth and love now? Will you condemn those students? She has faced threats of violence, been called names while walking through school hallways, and had slurs and threats about her written on bathroom walls, all because she dared to voice discomfort about situations affecting her privacy, used her First Amendment rights, and asked the adults in the room for help. What is perhaps most alarming is that many teachers, principals, counselors, and administrators privately admit that they are deeply uncomfortable with what is occurring, yet they feel powerless to speak. Over time, numerous educators and school employees have shared statements, and I'm giving direct quotes. Only a few more months and I'm done and don't have to deal with this insanity anymore. I want to speak out, but we are not allowed to publicly voice opposition to this. Our hands are tied until the school board creates a policy. I'm close to retirement, and I can't risk losing that if I'm fired. They may not fire you directly for speaking out, but they will find another little reason if they think you are making the district look bad. The amount of things administration sweeps under the rugs to protect the school's image would shock people. This issue has created a situation where even if a non-trans biological male entered a female space, staff feel they could do nothing as long as that student simply claimed to identify as a female. We are told to allow whatever they want because the district can't get sued. As a counselor working with these students, I honestly do not feel that every student identifying as transgender truly is transgender. The reality is, in some cases, I believe it is tied to social attention or other underlying mental issues. Disciplinary records are not always accurate because teachers will write students up for serious behavior only for administrators to later downgrade the offense so the school doesn't look bad. These statements reveal a culture of fear, silence, and institutional pressure within our schools. When educators, counselors, administrators, parents, and students all feel afraid to speak honestly, we no longer have transparency or accountability. We have a system where fear of controversy outweighs the responsibility to protect all students. No teacher should fear losing their livelihood for expressing concerns about student privacy and safety. No parent should fear retaliation for advocating for their daughter. And no female student should be made to feel unsafe, ignored, intimidated, or punished simply for speaking up about her own boundaries, dignity, and privacy. Amen. That's right. We cannot continue placing our daughters in positions that cause real emotional, psychological, and social harm. Today, many girls are being conditioned to believe that a biological male's comfort matters more than their own privacy, boundaries, and sense of safety. The Cabarrus County School Board must implement a clear bathroom and locker room policy that equally protects biological females. North Carolina law defines sex as biological male and biological female. Students who are uncomfortable using facilities aligned with their biological sex should have access to reasonable accommodations like single occupancy facilities or possibly one or two gender-neutral facilities. We would support that. But biological females deserve clear protection and boundaries in private spaces, and the Cabarrus County School Board should implement that policy immediately. And I'm going to end this, and I'm going to make it clear that when snippets are shared with me online, y'all make sure to snip this. If anyone showed their breasts or their vagina to your trans student and they felt uncomfortable, I'd be here standing with them too. If anyone touched, bullied, harassed your trans student, I'd be here standing with them too. Because when I say protect all students, I mean all. You cannot continue to ask the entire world to bend to your reality and what makes you feel comfortable and uncomfortable without giving the same respect and dignity to the other side. When you say believe all women, because I'm sure most of you guys marched for me too, I want you to remember that we are asking you to believe these girls. We are asking you to not make them prove why they feel uncomfortable simply so that you will support them. Because the reality is, as a female, I'm often uncomfortable in situations where I am disproportionately around a lot of biological men at one time, right? If I came to you and told you that made me feel fearful, would you look at me like I was crazy? No, because you vilify those men and their masculinity all the time. We need that masculinity, and we need fathers. The men out here today, thank you for standing up. Thank you. We thank you for being here, and we call on the school board to do the right thing and implement a policy, because the reality is, fight or flight is real. And I love whistles too, Humpty D. Fight or flight is real, and right now, our daughters are choosing flight. They're choosing to walk away. They're choosing to put their discomfort down in a little bottle, but eventually they're going to choose their fight mode, which is inherently biological to them. And you guys are going to be pissed when they lay one of your sons out on the floor.